Yeah, against this right back, Charlie, definitely.
People deluded, I'm back again.
Come on, Ian, man.
Come on, Ian. Monday, fun day. People deluded. I'm back again. I hope you all had a great weekend. I hope last week was great. And I hope this week to come is bigger and better for everyone. I hope you and your loved ones are in good health. If you're on YouTube and you're watching this when the video premieres, or if you're watching this on a rerun, please do me a favor and smash the like button. Now, yesterday, David Ornstein came out with an article saying Arsenal exploring move for Brentford goalkeeper David Raya. And it feels like the transfer market is going full circle. My initial thoughts before we get into it, and as I said, let me know your own. We've been linked with him before. So clearly Mikel Arteta and the hierarchy at Arsenal have an admiration for the Spain and Brentford goalkeeper. He's very good with a ball at his feet, good range of passing, respectfully to Matt Turner, who's also been linked with a move away. Raya is more likely to potentially, dislodge Ramsdale if Ramsdale's having a wobble. Now, don't get twisted. Matt Turner's a good keeper. He's an international goalie. I'm sure he puts pressure on Ramsdale, but I think there's a gulf in class. I think Raya and Ramsdale, they're kind of closer to each other in ability and what I believe Mikel Arteta demands of a goalkeeper. Because if you remember, the summer we signed Ramsdale from Sheffield United, we tried David Raya. Apparently, he once had a £10 million release clause. It did take me by surprise that we're going for a goalie. Maybe this is an opportunity that is too good to turn down. Over the summer, he's been linked with Bayern Munich, as he has again, Chelsea and Spurs, depending on what they're doing with their goalie situation. I'm on this because more competitive side, more decent dynamics and things like that. Now, as we know with goalies, you can't really have two out-and-out number ones per se. You look at De Gea and Dean Henderson. Henderson had to go on loan, / looks like he's leaving. We've been here with Ramsdale and Leno and Cech and Courtois, obviously, when they were both at Chelsea. And I'm sure there's plenty of other examples forcing it, but Mendy and Kepa. But yeah, and it also says we haven't placed a bid or anything with personal terms. But allegedly, Arsenal exploring a deal to sign Brentford goalkeeper David Raya. The North London side want to recruit the Spain international to compete alongside current number one Ramsdale for a starting place. Ramsdale's been given no luxuries because he's gone from strength to strength since signing for Arsenal. He's obviously signed an extended deal on improved terms. But Arteta is saying, you know what, we need a more competitive squad. And also, if anything happens to Ramsdale, God forbid, we've got a decent player there. And for Ramsdale, I'm sure he wants to get selected for England duty. And I know Pickford seems to be the number one. To be fair to Pickford, he's performed for England. I'm sure, he wants to dislodge Pickford at international level, and he wants to play every game for Arsenal and go to the Euros. I'm sure David Raya wants to do that for Spain. It's a bit like having Benjamin White versus Timber at right back, and the many options we've got all over the field. On the left hand side, the Fitzsmith role, Trossard, Martinelli, he's got problems, Arteta, good problems. Brentford have yet to receive an offer from Arsenal or any other team, but are aware of their interest. Everybody's interested. Putting bids down and talking and official dialogue with Brentford is a completely different story. And at 27, he's got longevity. Didn't that place him to be slightly older than Ramsdale as well? Apparently, Bayern Munich are also pursuing Raya, with their preference being known. Being alone, Brentford would only consider that if he agrees to extend a contract that is due to expire next summer. So again, maybe this is something that Arsenal didn't plan to do, an upgrade on Matt Turner. We only had him for a year, 18 months, but with us having an admiration for his talents, with his deal running down, with us probably trying to get him on reduced terms, maybe this is an opportunity to strengthen the squad that we can't turn down. Apparently, 27-year-old is understood to favour a move to long-term admirers Arsenal, where he'd be reunited with former Brentford goalkeeper coach Inaki Kanya. So he knows about the goalkeeping coach. He sees what Arsenal are doing. Maybe he reckons he's more likely to play football at Arsenal than Bayern Munich, although you've got Manuel Neuer. It looks like Jan Sommer is departing Bayern Munich if he's not there on loan or something. So I don't know. But it seems like the number one spot at Bayern Munich appears more available than at Arsenal, but bring him, really. Apparently, he featured in all of Brentford's 38 matches in the Premier League last season, as his side finished with the 5th best defensive record in the top flight, conceding only 46 goals. So there's also a lot of transferable things there where we would help for. Apparently, Arsenal's existing alternative Matt Turner is being considered by Nottingham Forest as one of 2 planned goalkeeper additions. Now, apparently they want Dean Henderson as well. Does it really make sense for him to go there? Are you going to play ahead of Dean Henderson? I don't know. I'll always back you, but surely it makes sense for Turner to go somewhere. You're going to be number one. And maybe he said, you know what, I've enjoyed, I don't know what happened with my light there, apologies, but I've enjoyed my time at Arsenal. I love it. You know, American, we're in America on tour. I love playing for Arsenal, but at 29 years of age, I want to play because I'm no religious follower of the MLS or, you know, the USMNT, the American national team. But you could imagine anytime Matt Turner plays there and provides heroics, pretty sure a talking point has to be on him is that, you know, you probably need to leave Arsenal to be first choice. Who knows, people? As we know, when you know, goalies need to be able to catch, and he is a good shot stopper. But the first thing I think of with Raya is he's very good with a ball at his feet and things. He don't really save that much penalties, neither does Ramsdale, in which Turner has. But we'll have to see, really. You know, he does play short passes to his centre backs, while a goalkeeper's job isn't to worry about the high line. With what a goalkeeper has to do with a team that plays a high line and playouts from the back, he fits that profile really and truly. When you look at who has had the best shot stopping this season, you know, Raya's 4th. Now, there could be a correlation with that because we've got a better defense, a bit like De Gea. Did he not win the Golden Boot? We've probably faced less shots, so you're going to have less shot stopping. You know, Liverpool's defense took a hit last season. Leno with Fulham, respectfully, you're going to be under the pressure a lot. Chelsea finished 12th. There was a lot of action for their goalies. Raya, Martinez, you know, he's in good stead, really and truly. So we'll have to see where that's concerned. Apparently, Romano's also said he prefers a move to Arsenal over Bayern Munich. The deal depends on the clubs now, but Arsenal are expected to bid soon in order to accelerate talks. Negotiations with Bayern are currently off after a loan was offered in the morning, not what the player/Brentford wanted. So his contract's running down. Brentford want to sell him to keep it moving. He probably wants more stability because he would go to Bayern Munich on a loan, and if you excel there, then maybe they buy you permanently or try to get you on a free. Maybe there's more clarity at Arsenal as to how he would phase into things. Bayern will give Raya some time to rethink, allegedly, according to Kerry Hugh. They don't believe that Arsenal are serious about signing the Spaniard. I mean, we've explored it. And again, apparently Bayern had concrete talks with David Raya and his agent and Brentford in the past few days and showed everyone involved a clear plan. The club offered a loan with an option to buy, which was rejected by the goalie on Sunday. So we'll have to see that. James Bain just said, I'm told that if both sides were to agree or deal with Brentford, David Raya's current preference would be Arsenal over Bayern Munich. He's still assessing his options, so that could change based on the pitches of the respective sides, but Arsenal are well placed. We'll have to see, really and truly. And you look at him last season, people, for saves, he ranked first. For saves from outside the box, he was first. For crosses caught, he's second, which is something I like with a goalie. For touches, he's first among goalies. For long passes completed, he's first. Now, you know, you saw Ramsdale against Bayern Munich. Against Barca, show his passing range. But he also showed he could go long. I think he knocked it into Gabriel Jesus. Jesus did well against Arojo, and I believe either Trossard or Fabio Vieira, one of them scored, but it's lit. Romano's also said Bayern were keen to sign him, but the deal now looks to be collapsing with the player favouring a move to the Emirates Stadium. The Arteta pool is a madness. Let me know your thoughts. I'm told Arsenal's interest in Raya is genuine. He's on their radar for years, and they believe this is a big opportunity on the market. Arsenal have always appreciated him, and Arteta is a big fan, but now it'll be down to the clubs to reach an agreement. Now, what he would probably go to Arsenal and Bayern Munich for, well, Bayern were trying to get him on loan, is something different. And he also comes with leadership, because if you look in the Athletic, people, they came out with an article, big up this Twitter account. Apparently at the time, Raya is a member of Brentford's leadership group, along with Ivan Toney, Janssen and Nordgaard. So again, the more experienced individuals, the more quote unquote captains we can bring into the club, I'm all for it. Before we speak about what was that there, Kudus, apparently Thomas Frank, Brentford gaffer, has been speaking about stuff. Spurs wanted Raya earlier this summer, it didn't bang. Bayern Munich are still interested. We know we tried to buy him in 2020, it didn't work. And apparently on Raya, Frank has said, unfortunately, it's not that easy. I hope we can find an offer. We are waiting to sell. David would like to go. That's fine for us. If a club wants to buy him, they just need to find out the price. So I guess it should be simple, but apparently it's very difficult. So they've made clear that he can leave, really. And apparently in relation to our existing second choice goalkeeper, or someone that's expected at this moment in time to compete with Ramsdale, apparently Forest are reported to have asked for the final conditions to sign Matt Turner as a possible alternative, pardon me, to Dean Henderson. Dean Henderson, who's obviously seen De Gea leave Man United and maybe reckon he could grab that spot. You've just seen them sign Onana from Inter Milan. So we'll have to see. Forest have been in talks to secure a permanent transfer for Manchester United's Henderson. So is it a thing where we're exploring the market for another keeper? Matt Turner's made clear he wants to leave, and we've seen an opportunity with Raya. Regardless of Raya, will sign someone else. Is it a thing where we're going to sign Raya regardless of what's happening with Turner? And, we bring Raya in if this happens. If Turner leaves, Turner leaves. If not, probably going to end up being third choice. Which you reckon, for Raya, how much games are you going to play? I think he fits the system a lot better than Matt Turner, with the greatest of respect. I really like this signing. The more I think about it, I think it's someone that can compete and maybe, take Ramsdale's spot, if I'm completely honest, because, as much as I like Ramsdale and I'm not dissing him, I think, there's a lot he can improve. I think he's a leader. I think he's a good goalie. He is prone to sometimes going through spells of bad form, in which if you've got Raya there, he can come in and help us, or he keeps you on your toes, really. And there's not that many games for a second and third choice goalkeeper to play. The manager, it's not Sunday League. The manager's not just going to mess around with his goalies. So of the 38 Premier League games, I don't know how much between the two players they would play, if any, for argument's sake. Obviously, the Champions League, you want Arteta to go as strong as possible. Yeah, there's the League Cup, but how many fixtures are there? The FA Cup don't come until the turn of the year. It is what it is, really. So if Matt Turner's happy in London, he with the, his former goalkeeping coach, what Arteta and Arsenal are doing, come and sign for us, really, because it makes us better as a team, essentially. But we'll have to see. Apparently, Raya seemingly lost his place as B's number one as he approaches the final year of his contract. But the Guardian reported that Thomas Frank's side value Raya at 40 million, so he will not come cheap. Again, 40 million pounds if his contract is up in a year, and he could talk to clubs abroad in a matter of months, probably doesn't make sense, people. According to a report out of Italy, look at it with a pinch of salt. Arsenal are ready to offer 30 million euros for Raya. So we'll have to see. Clearly, there would still be some distance between the clubs at that price, but Arsenal are not actually that far for the first offer, depending on how they structure the payments. I'm all for it, really and truly, if I'm honest with you. I think 40 million asking a lot, really. So I think 30 million, 25.7 million for a player with a year left. It suits all parties. They'll make a profit. They sell someone that doesn't want to be there. We get someone who's 27 years of age, ready to compete with Ramsdale. And at 27, as a footballer, you're in your peak. As a goalie, you should be in your peak. But as a goalie, it's like being a cat and having 9 lives. As a goalie, he's essentially, I won't quite say a baby, but that man can be playing until they're 30 odd. So I'm all for this. Away from that, people. And David Raya, and keeping up the David Raya stuff, apparently there's some statistics that go in his favor, allegedly, people. Frank also said, like everything, it's a negotiation. I would love to get 40 million. That's what he's worth. He's one of the best keepers, was one of the 4 best in the Premier League last season. So what's the price? What did Declan Rice go for? 1 year left on his contract and 105 million. Is that the price? Is that fair? And Harry Kane at Tottenham, you're talking 1 year left and 150 million. Raya is at his best age, but anyways, it's a good thing I'm not negotiating. And I mean, they're right to ask for that. I think Arsenal showed their hand with what we spent for Declan Rice, but and whatever Spurs do is their business. But respectfully to Raya, are you number one for Spain? You're not. Kane is the number one striker for England, and as well as his club. Declan Rice was the poster boy for West Ham last season, winning the Conference League. He was their captain, and he's a regular for his country. Again, it's not the same, but you get the point. And I don't blame Thomas Frank for wanting peace. He also said that is for the director of football, Phil Giles. Owner Matthew Benham and Arsenal, I just take care of coaching. As you know, we targeted him in 2020 and in 2021, but we missed out on the chance to trigger his 10 million release clause after, unfortunately, in this regards, Brentford got promoted to the Premier League. We obviously went for Ramsdale, but apparently Arteta has remained a huge fan of Raya's technical ability and distribution with his feet. Now the Spanish coach could have both to begin the new Premier League season. Apparently Raya was ranked first for the number of saves last season with 154 and has a 77% percentage save rate compared to Ramsdale's 69%. People will have to see. And he also was asked, and he said, it depends what you want as a club and as a manager. You want a clear number one or 2 equally good goalies and big competition, you need to ask Arsenal. We all want as many players as possible in competition. We always want that. And sometimes you want a little bit more clarity if he stays. Then we also have 2 very good goalkeepers. So we'll have to see how this develops, people. He also said you want players you want to buy in as quickly as possible, and players you want to sell out as quickly as possible, but it's never like that. We know it's always complicated, always 2 sides of the coin, and there's always negotiating. People need to meet somewhere. So we'll have to see exactly where this takes us, people. Young centre back who's left Arsenal right now, Zach Away. Apparently, he's going to Southampton. The 19-year-old will be due a compensation package due to him developing at the club and him being of a certain age threshold. But if he does play regular football for Southampton in the Championship, good on you, lad, because I didn't think you'd make the grade at Arsenal. Granted, Xhaka has been speaking about leaving Arsenal and said, what has he said? He's bigged up Xabi Alonso. That was obviously in relation to Mikel Arteta. I want to see exactly what Xhaka has said. Let me know your thoughts and smash the like button. I spent 7 magnificent years at Arsenal. I didn't want to play against them. It wasn't easy for me to leave or for the club to let me go. I felt love and respect from Edu and Arteta. I wanted to face a new challenge at Bayern Leverkusen. And he then said, it won't be easy, but we can achieve great things. The goal is to get into the Champions League. And although I'm not a dreamer, I have the feeling that we can win something. Fair enough. Xhaka loves a project. Ainsley Maitland-Niles at the moment doesn't have another club. And I think, this is a bit of a scummy headline from the news journalist. I'm an England star who spent 9 years at Arsenal and earned 30 million. Now I'm unemployed. What happened to calling a footballer a free agent? I mean, essentially he's unemployed, but he's earned 30 million. And Ainsley will find another club. No clue on what's going on over there. But after someone who spent 9 years and made 132 appearances for the club and picked up some trophies, I wish him all the best. You needed to leave, really and truly. He bigged up Arsenal, obviously, at the time. I hope he wins a trophy, man. And he said the FA Cup final was the best for him. We're not going to get into that. I do hope he can find a move, though, really. Apparently, Disasi, who seems to be going Chelsea are buying up everyone in France. Apparently, both Arsenal and Man United were looking at Disasi before Chelsea came in. Arsenal, in particular, were reluctant to pay the asking price, which allegedly is 39 million quid. Matt Turner is being considered by Nottingham Forest as one of 2 planned goalkeeper additions, although there was distance between the 2 clubs' values and no guaranteed move will happen. Arsenal, no Forest are looking at him, and dialogue continues. Allegedly, Sheffield United and Arsenal have agreed a £5 million deal for Austin Trusty. Personal terms are still to be agreed. I mean, getting rid of all the American players, isn't it, really, after we've come off the tour? Balogun could leave for anything from 35 to 50 million quid. Austin Trusty, considering he's been at Arsenal about 18 months, little 5 million profit there. No clue on what Matt Turner brings to the club, but it starts to bring some money in after the spending we're doing. Obviously, the Cedrics, the Pepes, the Lokongas, the Tavareses, and any other player holding. Any of these players I've missed out. The quicker we move them on, the better as well. We start to streamline the squad. Arteta did say after our last pre-season international game that we've got 30 players. It's not sustainable, essentially. Silly season, but we've been linked with Kvaratskhelia. I can't say his name, but you all know the Napoli Don, exciting player. She's going to take mad money. But let's humour ourselves and see what Football Transfers has said, people. Arsenal IKK move via former Spezia sporting director. Arsenal have expressed interest in Napoli's highly rated attacker KK, and the club believe the possibility of Victor Osimhen staying in Italy will work in their favour. We are told that Arsenal are boosted by a pre-existing relationship between the London club and Napoli's new sporting director, Mauro Miloso. And apparently he worked as a consultant for Kirio. I mean, you can never have too many friends in football, but this is a case of getting 2 and 2 and making $1 million, really. We all know the 22-year-old stock is rising every ball that he kicks for Napoli. We all know Napoli hit the jackpot, signed him for 10 million. Lord knows how much they'll make on him in terms of profit. Everybody knows the Premier League's got money. He's tied under a contract for a decent period of time at Napoli. Napoli have an appreciating asset. Napoli just won the league, forgive me if I'm wrong. And we all know Napoli's chairman is very notoriously difficult to do business. Money talks. You probably need to bid something in and around the region of what we spent on Declan Rice, whether that's the right thing or not, to get a conversation started. But the 22-year-old would be lit. And he can play in a bunch of roles, but he plays off the left primarily. Forgive me if I'm wrong, so out of all the front 4 positions, it seems like the left-hand channel with Martinelli, with Trossard, with, Smith Rowe. I'm not saying don't bring my man in, but if anything, surely it makes more of a case of signing a number 9, signing a right winger that could potentially, offer more competition for Saka than what Reece Nelson could, with the greatest of respect. And for what it's worth, Napoli allegedly have rejected advances already. Yeah, I haven't really got time for none of this nonsense, people. But for what it's worth, the mutual respect formed through previous dealings with Arsenal and Napoli sporting director could well see a move realised down the line. But Napoli are notoriously shrewd business negotiators, and it will take Arsenal a potential club record-breaking sum for a fee to be agreed. You've all seen what we just spent on Declan Rice. Arsenal now prefer to loan out Balogun. Now, had Balogun signed a new deal or been under contract for a longer length of time, I think that would have happened. And again, there's nothing wrong with loaning him out in principle. He's made it clear he don't want to go on loan. His contract is up and we have a potential sellable asset. But, if he's not going to get an opportunity here, I'm open to everything. I'm open to Balogun getting an opportunity, thriving, doing your Halem thing. If he was on it, which he's not, going out on loan again, showing you can get 20 odd goals again, whether that's in the Prem, in France, wherever, like he did last season. Or if Arteta says, you know what, not everyone can make it here, 35 to 50 million, let's reinvest. Fans will cry about it, but it is what it is. Allegedly, Arsenal prefer to do that, according to Ben Jacobs. Although every day you read these same journalists say Arsenal prefer to sell him, we're going to keep him, and now he's going on loan, really, allegedly. We know that Inter Milan have been interested in him, having given up on Lukaku. Arsenal's valuation for Balogun, rightly so, has gone up significantly, and that is because he had a fantastic season last campaign. And Balogun has made it clear, he said on record, that he's not prepared to go out on loan again, which is a shame for Arsenal, because they're almost certain if Balogun said to Arteta, loan me out, I'll come back in a year, then that would be Arsenal's preference. But then he'd have a year left on his deal, so we need to negotiate a new contract. So now we have to wait and see how that's going to progress. It might have something in the region of 45 million to make a deal for Balogun. I mean, he could go on loan with an obligation to buy, technically. So we'll have to see, man. He's been linked with a bunch of clubs, definitely in the last few days / in the last few weeks, Inter Milan aggressively. Allegedly, we're continuing our pursuit of Bitello. He's available for £8.5 million. Apparently, Guillermo wants to sell, and allegedly, Arsenal are working on a deal via Edu, and he's also wanted by Monaco, Porto, and Zenit. These are all, well, definitely where Monaco and Porto, good initial periods for a young South American to make the inroads into European football. Apparently, we are still working on that deal and are confident of securing his signature despite rival interest. 23-year-old has 2 years of first team football under his belt, 1 year in Serie B and 1 year currently in Serie A of Brazilian football. Again, Arsenal apparently were chatting to him. We'll have to see. There's rumors he might not even get a work permit, so we'll have to see exactly what's going on in that regards. Arsenal are not the only one who have made an approach in recent weeks. Monaco, Porto, and Zenit St. Petersburg are all holding conversations about such people. So we'll have to see how that develops. Chelsea are about to pip Arsenal allegedly to the signing of Elise as well. People, apparently they're close to agreeing personal terms with him. He's also got interest from Manchester City. Allegedly, he has a 35 million quid release clause. Going back to Kudus, Ben Jacobs has said, Arsenal, I think, are quite content to sit back at this point. They had a great window so far. They've spent a lot of money, so I think Arsenal will be looking first and foremost to resolve the outgoing situation before they move, and that will include advancing on anything for Kudus at this point, people. So that's that. And apparently, once again, Chelsea now want to sign him for 40 odd million quid this summer, so we'll have to see how that one goes. Chelsea feel like there's not much let's start again. Chelsea feel like there's not as much of a rush in terms of striking a deal there. So that might also tell you, Chelsea got other priorities. And as much as what the media is saying, these, what's actually happening with the clubs and the pace of the movements they're making to sign these alleged targets could be something completely different. But with that, I think we've covered everything. Anything else that comes out, I'll do videos and stuff like that. Again, the beautiful thing is that football is about opinions. Let me know your thoughts on Raya, on Kudus, on KK, on anything we've discussed. Smash the like button and subscribe if you haven't. Go and check out the rest of the transfer news vids and the tactical vids and everything else. Go and watch my video I did with Adrian Clark. Big up Clarky as well for speaking Arsenal with me, speaking about pre-season, previewing the upcoming Premier League season, and talking about potential outgoings and incomings. Thank you for tuning in wherever you lot are. God bless you all. Stay in good health. I extend that to your loved ones. I'm out.
There's always just that accurate red light defenders. I think it's like